Good afternoon, students. This is the solution of the second revision sheet, which is about solubility. Note that the mark is over 60 and you have 1 point for good handwriting and names. Now let's start with the first exercise. In the first exercise, they gave you a table showing the variation of the solubility of ammonium bromide as a function of temperature. In the first part, you should transform the above table into a graph. We know that each graph contains two axes, the y-axis and the x-axis. The two axes should have arrows. On the arrows, you should take half mark, and the title of each axis is you should take half point. So on the y-axis, we should write the solubility in gram per 100 gram of water. We should write the unit also. And on the x-axis, we write the temperature in degrees Celsius. Then we will make a scale, an appropriate scale for this graph. I took the scale for each 1 centimeter on the x-axis. It represents 10 degrees Celsius. Each centimeter, 1 centimeter on the y-axis represents 20 gram per 100 gram of water. Some students will take another scale, such as for the x-axis, each 1 centimeter will represent 20 degrees Celsius. It's right, okay? Then I'll start writing the numbers on the axis that I'll use. Then I'll start to plot the points. The first point is 0.61, so the temperature is 0, this is 0, and on the 61 I will draw this point. The second point, 20.57, here is the 57, so this is the second point. The third point is 40.91, the third is 60.108, and the last one is 80.126. So these are the points. Then I'll connect the points with a line or a curve. Here it will be a line. I should connect them without using a ruler, okay? For each point, you will take one point. And don't forget to write the title. As we know, the title is a graph showing the variation of solubility in gram per 100 gram of water as a function of temperature in degrees Celsius. And you will take 1 point also on the title and on the scale. The second part, you should analyze the obtained graph. We saw that the graph is of one stage which is increasing. So I will say the solubility of ammonium bromide, which is varying. قلنا نحن variation of solubility of ammonium bromide. So I will start the solubility of ammonium bromide. How it is varying? It is increasing. The solubility of ammonium bromide increases from 61 gram per 100 gram of water, this is the first value, to 126 grams per 100 gram of water. As the temperature increases, also the temperature is increasing from 0 degrees Celsius to 80 degrees Celsius. On the variations, on the words increase, decrease, or remains constant, you will take 1 point. On each value, you will take also 1 point. So the whole part, you will take 6 points if it is all correct. The second part, he's staying in 100 gram of water and at a temperature of 40 degrees Celsius. Ali added 95 grams of ammonium bromide solid. Explain why the solid is not completely dissolved in water. So in 100 gram of water and at a specific temperature, which is 40 degrees Celsius, this student wants to add 95 grams of ammonium bromide. They are saying that you should explain that this solid is not completely dissolved. Why it is not completely dissolved? As the graph shows, or as the table shows, at the temperature 40 degrees Celsius and in 100 gram of water, what is the solubility of ammonium bromide? You can see that it is 91 grams. As the solubility is 91 grams. As a definition, the solubility is the maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in a specific amount of solvent at a specific temperature. So it is 91. 95 is more than 91, so they will not completely dissolve. So this is the answer. According to the given table, the solubility of ammonium bromide at 40 degrees Celsius is 91 gram per 100 gram of water. You will take 1 point for this. So the maximum amount of ammonium bromide that can be dissolved in 100 gram of water is 91 gram at this temperature, but 95 gram is more than the solubility of ammonium bromide, and this you will take 1 point on it. Hence, the solid will not dissolve completely. B. Determine the mass of the solid that remains undissolved. So I put 95. The undissolved, يعني it doesn't dissolve in the solution. 95, it is 95 minus 91, which is 4 grams. So determine, you should show your calculation. You will take 1 point on the calculation, on the mathematical calculation, and 1 point on the answer. Identify the nature of the obtained solution. So I have undissolved solid. So what is the type of this solution? Is it saturated, unsaturated, or supersaturated? It is, of course, saturated. فإذا they said identify. And the word identify means that you should justify, then you should answer. فإذا نبلش ب since an amount of, أو because an amount of solid remains undissolved, so this solution is a saturated solution. On the ordering of the sentence، يعني إذا if you used identify correctly، يعني عملتوا أنتوا أول شيء justification بعدين answer, you will take 1 point. And on the justification you will take 1 point, and on the answer you will take 1 point. So the total mark on this part is 3 points. D. After heating the solution, all salt particles dissolve. Specify the nature of the new solution. So they heat the saturated solution and all the particles dissolve. They said specify. You know that the word specify means I should answer, then I should justify. Also on the ordering of the sentence, يعني if you answer then you justify, you'll take 1 point. The new solution is a supersaturated solution. We know that because we heat it, and because of heating, the solid particles dissolve that were not dissolved. Since all the solid particles dissolve although the amount is more than its solubility. لازم all the solid particles dissolve مع انه هي نحن حاطين 95 grams هي اكبر من السوليبيليتي بس دابوا. So I forced them to dissolve in the solution, so it is supersaturated. فإذا على التايب بحط 1 point، على الجواب يعني على الانسر 1 point، على الترتيب حسب كلمة specify على ترتيب الجملة يعني answer then justification I should put 1 point, and on the justification it is 1 point. Now we'll start with exercise 2. Exercise 2 is over 20 points. The adjacent bar graph shows the solubility of some solids. These are the 3 solids A, B, C. A is potassium bromide, sodium chlorate for B, and C ammonium chloride. This is the histogram or the bar graph. If I want to put a title for it, a bar graph showing the quantity of solute in grams dissolved per 100 gram of water at 20 degrees Celsius of different substances. Okay, so this is the graph. Let's start with the first part. A. Name the substance which is the most soluble and determine its solubility. The most soluble substance, as we see in the bar graph, is substance B, and determine its solubility. Substance B, which is sodium chlorate, is the most soluble substance, where its solubility is 100 gram per 100 gram dissolved per 100 gram of water at 20 degrees Celsius. So on the when you name the substance, you will take 2 points, and for determining its solubility, you will take 2 points. So the total mark is 4 points. B. Specify if we can dissolve 80 grams of potassium bromide in 100 milliliter of water. 100 milliliter of water is the same as 100 gram of water. Don't hesitate, because the density of water is 1 gram per centimeter cubed. So 1 milliliter is the same as 1 gram of water, the same quantity. Specify, I should show answer, then justify. We cannot dissolve 80 grams of potassium bromide in 100 milliliter or 100 gram of water. This is the answer. You take 2 points on the answer since this amount is more than its solubility, which is 70 grams per 100 gram of water. فإذا on the ordering of the sentence according to the word specify, you will take 1 point, and on the justification, if you say it is more than the solubility, you will take 1 point, and if you used the numbers here, يعني if you use the quantity of solubility from the bar graph, you will take 1 point. So it's all over 5 points. C. Find the solubility of ammonium chloride in 50 milliliters of water at 20 degrees Celsius. The solubility of ammonium bromide in 50 milliliters. They gave us the solubility of ammonium chloride in 100 milliliters of water and at 20 degrees Celsius. Now they divide the solvent, the amount of solvent, the half. يعني صار عندي نص السولفنت، كان نحن عم نقيسهم in 100 milliliter أو 100 gram of water. هلا صار عندي النص. طب شو بده يصير بالsolubility؟ According to the histogram, the solubility of ammonium chloride is 100 in 100 milliliter or 100 gram of water at 20 degrees Celsius is 40 gram per 100 gram of water. So this is from the histogram. Then its solubility in 50 milliliters or 50 grams, half the volume of the water shown in the histogram, is half its solubility in 100 gram of water. So it is 20 grams per 50 grams of water. Is it okay? So the amount of the solvent is half. The solubility is half. يعني I should multiply it by half. بقسم على 2. كان عندي أول شي ب 100 ملليلتر 40 جرام that can be dissolved. يعني ب 50 ملليلتر بده يكون عندي 20 grams that can be dissolved. Okay. Solubility of copper sulfate in 32 grams in 100 milliliter of water represented on the bar graph. They gave me the solubility of copper sulfate, which is substance D. If you redraw the histogram, you will take 1 point. You will redraw it. And for the new bar, you will take 2 points. هيها D. You should draw it correctly at 50. And for the title, a histogram showing the solubility of different substances at 20 degrees Celsius, you will take 2 points. So don't forget the title. All this part is over 5 points. Exercise 3. What is the solid powder in the jar? So we have a jar, we have a solid powder inside it, and we want to know what is this solid. We have two solids, sugar and salt. We want to know if it is sugar or if it is salt. They gave me a graph showing the solubility of both substances with respect to temperature, or as a function of temperature. They are varying with respect to temperature. So this is the graph. Compare the solubility of sugar to that of salt in water at 0 degrees Celsius. This is the first part. If you see, at 0 degrees Celsius, the solubility of sugar is about 75 grams dissolved in 100 milliliter of water. I'm using the unit, the shown unit, while that of salt is about 30, I think, 30 grams of solute dissolved in 100 milliliter of water. Let us see the comparison. How should I answer? Compare means قارن، لازم أقارنهم أنا بين بعض. يعني I should use, if I have numbers, I should use more than, less than. It is quantitative or equal. More than, less than, or equal. It is a quantitative comparison. While if I don't have numbers, it is qualitative. I should use while, but, on the other hand, and so on. Here I have numbers, so I should use more than, less than, or equal. The solubility of sugar at 0 degrees Celsius is 175 per 100 milliliter water. More than that of salt, which is 30 grams per 100 milliliter of water. This is the comparison. So on each value I will take 1 point, and on the word more than I will take 1 point. Some students will make it like this. The solubility of salt is 30 grams per 100 milliliter of water, less than that of sugar, which is 175 grams per 100 milliliter water. It's correct. choose the best answer. Dissolving 200 grams of sugar in 100 milliliter of water at 20 degrees Celsius results in a dilute solute, a saturated solute, not all sugar dissolve. So let us see. عم بيقول لي at 20 degrees Celsius I want to dissolve 200 grams of sugar. If I see on the graph, at this point or at this temperature at 20 degrees Celsius, the solubility of sugar is 200 grams per 100 milliliter water. فإذا أنا حطيت الماكسيموم، حطيت ال 200 grams. هو solubility 200، أنا حطيت 200 grams. So I will obtain what? What is the answer? I will obtain a saturated solution because I put the maximum amount, isn't it? فإذا it is B. The correct answer is B. You will take 1 point if you choose the correct answer. And this is just justification. They say you should justify your choice. According to the graph, the solubility of sugar at 20 degrees Celsius is 200 grams per 100 milliliter of water. You will take 1 point if you say this one. If you say that the solubility according to the graph is in this value at this temperature. So the obtained solution is saturated since it contains the maximum amount of solute that can be dissolved in 100 milliliter at 20 degrees Celsius of water at 20 degrees Celsius. You will take also 1 point on this. فإذا 1 point on the answer, 1 point on the use of the graph, and 1 point on the last sentence, which is for justification. According to the graph, the solubility of sugar and salt does not vary with temperature. It's incorrect. أكيد they are varying because the curves are not constant, they are increasing and so on, or decreasing. Let us see. Solubility of sugar increases with temperature where that of salt decreases. It's not correct. The solubility of sugar increases with temperature while that of salt remains constant. This is also not correct. It is D. The solubility of both sugar and salt increases with temperature. We know that the solubility of solids increases with temperature. We know that when we took it in the class, the effect of temperature on the solubility of solid, we said that the solubility of solids increases when I increase the temperature. Justify your choice. فإذا D is the correct answer. The solubility of both sugar and salt increases with temperature. Some students will see that the salt is not increasing, it remains constant. It's not this case. لا, it is increasing, but it is increasing slightly in very little amounts. The solubility of both sugar and salt increases with temperature. We'll take 1 point. According to the graph, the solubility of sugar increases from 175 gram per 100 milliliter to 480 grams per 100 milliliter of water. And that of salt increases slightly from 30 grams per 100 milliliter water to about 40 grams per 100 milliliter water with the increase of temperature from 0 degrees Celsius to 100 degrees Celsius. This is a justification, a complete justification according to the graph. I use the graph to justify my answer. Make use of the graph. The laboratory assistant weighed 100 grams of the white solid in the jar. We don't know yet what is the solid. عم بيقلنا هيدا السوليد اللي بالجار بدي أعرف شو هو إذا salt أو sugar. She took 100 grams of it from the jar and put them in a beaker containing 100 milliliter of water. حطتهم ببيكر في بقلبه 100 milliliter of water. She then stirred the mixture. She stirred the mixture. حركة المixture. After a while, she obtained a clear aqueous solution with no solids at the bottom. شو يعني clear aqueous solution؟ يعني it is a homogeneous mixture and no solids at the bottom. Homogeneous mixture and it is an aqueous solution. What is the type of this solution? Let us see what is the question. Identify the solid in the jar, giving full justification. Identify, you should justify, then answer. When you use justification then answering this order, you will take 1 point. Since the 100 gram of solid dissolved completely, هو قال لي no solids at the bottom, يعني it dissolves completely in 100 milliliter of water, and therefore giving, فإذا for this one, إنه they dissolve completely, you will take half point, and therefore giving an unsaturated solution. مش هيك؟ ما هو عطاني aqueous solution و no solids at the bottom، يعني هو شو unsaturated solution. It's still unsaturated. I didn't reach the maximum amount. You will take 1 point if you said if it is unsaturated, and because the solubility of salt is about 33 grams per 100 milliliter, less than 100 grams. هيدي كمان إذا قلتها حاخد half point إنه السوليبيليتي للسولت هو 33 grams at room temperature, while that of sugar is 200 grams per 100 milliliter water, more than 100 gram at room temperature. أخذنا تقريبا هون room temperature 20 degrees Celsius مثل ما هي يعني بالroom temperature. So the solid in the jar is sugar. This is the answer. أكيد هو sugar. أصلا on a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius the solubility of salt is 40 grams per 100 milliliter. مستحيل يكون salt. It is